Alright guys, looks like my stream's up and running. We're going to be reading the decision code story and playing the songs, reading the lyrics. So yeah, I'm going to play this low so you guys don't have to listen to it too well. Alright, let's try it. Here we go. Alright, so first things first. Conflnct is a band from Russia, Moscow, Russia. They are a industrial metal band, and basically they're the next Fear Factory. Let's just put it that way. They are composed of members of they are composed of the members Anna, Rodion, Alexei, and Mikolai. Or sorry, Mik Mikhail. Mikhail. Yes, Mikhail. Anna's vocals, Rodion is guitar, Alexei is bass, and Mikhail is drums. They had guest appearances on this album. They had Dave Lowmiller from Dark Halo, and never heard of them. I might have to listen to them. They're on the track De-Evolution. On the track Decision Code, Alex Blake from Dead Heaven. Never heard of them either. On Speechless, Karsten Jaeger from Disbelief. Jagger's vocals recorded from Corny Rambato Recordings, Essen, Germany. Essen, Germany. And one of my personal favorites, the architect, Burton C. Bell. Yes, the one, the only Burton C. Bell from Fear Factory, lead singer of Fear Factory. Recorded vocals for the architects, sorry. Recorded vocals, editing by Stuart Carreras in Los Angeles, United States. Deadlock. There's a band called Deadlock, but they made a song called Deadlock. Jace Lewis, www.jacelewis.com. 2048 in Room 101, spoken word by Roman Arsafs. And finally, New Industrial Order, spoken word by Mikhail Verwell Savliv. And then they had a few other instruments, a saxophone on Megapolis by Dmitry Trifonov, and it was recorded by Grigory Kovalenko at Gradsky Hall in Moscow, Russia. Never heard of it, sorry. String arrangements, chamber strings, I'm not going to get into all that. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that was put into making this album, but it tells a story. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and listen to it. Okay, so the prologue, the cradle of technocracy. Technocracy. Okay, in the year 2048, the world seemed to finally change. But the same could not be said about people. History repeated itself in cycles with different consequences. With no remorse or ability to stop, thus there was no end for people to attempt to build another utopia. Once this land was nothing, just a dot on the map with no exaggeration. One could barely find it on a globe. Wars omitted this place from the map even since medieval times. It had no useful resources nor any strategic significance. It was even able to keep its neutrality during both world wars and stand aside from any alliances during the Cold War. Furthermore, it naturally became a shelter for several generations of thinkers and intellectuals who fled revolutions, war, and repression. These very people, Ganai of their times, later referred to as the technocrats, define the following fate and development of this country. Excuse me, guys. The political system of this state, established in the mid, looks like 21. Sorry, guys, coming down from a cold. Established in the mid, I think it looks like the 20 hmm, centuries. I don't know what the mid 20th, 22nd century, I think, can be described as a technocracy, the reign of technology, reason, and stringent order, being not just one step, but one lap ahead of the rest of mankind. In the view of many, this land had become heaven on earth. The whole world still thrives on a golden age of technology. However, despite this success, the government headed by Supreme Council was submerged step by step into autocracy and callousness. They stood severally for their unified truth, forcing the malcontents to pay the highest price. There was no austerity, for austerity itself, the state had many foes, So the technocrats knew that slackering was no option at all. This resulted in a country in chaos, their power in its demise. Chapter 1: The Rebel. Rays of fading sun flickered through clouds and shone on tops of endless skyscrapers tending upwards to the skies. The bottom levels of the city were ready to drown in darkness, but streets were drawn from it by the illumination of neon lights and huge screens glowing with a picture of an emotionally speaking human figure draped in a gray suit. Sorry. Patrol drones were on the watch, finding people for different offenses and reporting their situations to Central PD. Engine 0019 stood still for a moment near the open window at floor 81 while doing a routine patrol on a residential complex. Its sensors caught a sound of speech that seemed quite suspicious. And again, our great homeland is on the edge of the abyss, facing a new threat. It was our country that had become the refuge for the brightest of people throughout the world. Escaping from revolutions, wars, and repression, we were allowed no arbitrariness and call upon our all true citizens to ignore any provocation, having its voice recorded and identified. The mechanical sentry departed. Excuse me again. Oh God, I hate being sick. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't deafen the voice from the TV set sounding through the door of the next room. There was cut hair lying in the sink. Rebel took a look into the mirror and met the familiar gaze of jaded eyes on the face of a stranger. She used to change her appearance too often, following habits developed over long years of clandestine struggle, as she called it. All the conflicts in the world have left us aside. How do we let the revolt bloom in our society while avoiding any external threat? How could we have let these serpents in? Altogether, we built a utopia with no tyrants and rulers, where reason reigns, and they dare to blame us for our lack of freedom. Our science brought all the modern technologies to this world, while these tergiversators, whatever that is, tergiversators, yeah, use their inventions to spread lies. They give you their so-called news to inspire a growing sense of hate within you, hate towards people whose point of view alters from their official one. They deliberately choose everything, even music and movies, for you to make you think the way they want you to. That's called recommendations, and nobody ever bitched about it before, said the girl on the couch. We are interrupting this broadcast, too. The TV coughed. Rebel felt her sense of hate achieved the point of no return. Determined, she went to the TV set and crushed it down onto the floor, giving no attention towards her neighbors. Outcries of protest. Splinters flew all over the room, and then the mendacious voice was gone. "You've just gone nuts. I am the only normal ones here," shouted Rebel in response. I'm the only normal one here, shouted Rebel in response. The man on the TV was right. She is one of them. The point is, I'm not one of you, Rebel said loudly, as she left the apartment. The city greeted her with gray tones, as usual. A thunderstorm ripened somewhere amongst the mountains, far over the skyscrapers and walls. The storm approached, the one that will wipe all the dirt off this city. Rebel put on her headphones and vanished amidst the waves of the crowd. Waves of a crowd. Okay, so now we're gonna get into 2048. This is the first song on the album. Splinters of the broken TV set were scattered all over the room. Shards pointed upwards here and there. One of the neighbor girls put the fruit can on the table, took the mop and started cleaning up the mess. Hey, I just recently moved here and rented this room in your commune for just a week. How could you tell what's happened here? I don't give a damn about politics. The only thing I've heard is there are a few of those so-called saboteurs and public enemies that oppose official government statements. The second neighbor girl took a sip of her coffee, then came closer and sat on the couch. It's impossible to make heaven for everyone, but not hell, she whispered. Our neighbor Raoul thinks that the government usurps power, oppresses liberty and the rights of citizens. For the last 8 years, the malcontents used to hold public protest meetings several times. All those meetings were severely suppressed. The majority of the people here who work in service sector, like waiters, bankers, grocers, actors, artists, and many more, tend to form their own space independent from the regime. They established well-covered clandestine cells and groups, following anti-authoritarian, socialist, and near-anarchist ideals. They are referred to as the autonoms. She stopped for a second to add some cognac into the cup, possibly for a drop of courage, then kept up talking. The most active malcontents belonging to them often have support from abroad and criticize the authority, calling for its overthrow and civilian disobedience. And although a major part of people shows no heart for these calls, such activities causes troubles and state oppression with international instability after an aftermath. The more the screws are tightened, the more people support the autonoms, tending to finally reach elusive freedom and independence. The world outside thoroughly keeps an eye on our country, and just a few journalists are able to visit it. Inept information is blocked from broadcasting. The only things that can pass the censorship and approval of the Supreme the only things that pass the censorship and approval of the Supreme Council deserve exposure. But in spite of this, some shreds of information still leak through social networks. Haven't you heard about the girl named Katerina? The first girl asked. I have. She is one of the most famous malcontents who writes about the horrors of the governmental machine. Her social network accounts are incredibly popular and have hundreds of thousands of followers. She writes about injustice every day, posts about repression, brainwashing, the lack of freedom and speech, about how a bunch of bureaucrats still hold power in their hands for many years. Well then, you are now somewhat aware of what's going on here and to whom our irascible neighbor belongs. Rebel passed by several blocks on the route she knew so well and entered the abandoned factory, leading her way down to the underground tunnels in an old, ramshackle elevator. Deep down, there were three silhouettes sitting in the dim light of shimmering displays and observing intently to what is going on there. One of the figures noticed the noise of the elevator, put his hand on the gun. Then Rebel appeared from the darkness and walked towards them. Don't you fucking move. The man ordered and pointed the gun at her, saying this. But put that thing down, her familiar voice said. Whew, I didn't recognize you with your new outfit. Well done. No tail after you, first operator asked. Rebel threw a bumptious uh Rebel threw a bumptious glance on them and came closer to the screens. Hey, check out what these bastards gave us this time, second operator said and pointed his finger on one, grinning disgustingly. A shuffle of pixels on the display meandered into the sequence of frames with faces of the autonoms wanted by the government for sabotage and incitement. One of the frames briefly showed the face of the second. Take a look at these loathsome faces. Can they call themselves sons and daughters of our great country? We will not allow these outcasts to disrupt our peace, order, and foundations. The display spoke. We've been building our common future for far too long. Any attempt to disturb the fabric of our society will be persecuted to the full extent. The speaker in the gray suit finished proclaiming. Enough of this liar, nothing new for years, Rebel said, and attached a portal drive to the system, entering several social networks at once. Have you adjusted the satellite transmitter? She asked the third operator. He flinched and put his glasses onto the table as if this question was too sudden. Yes, everything is ready for translation. The signal is encrypted. They will not find us, he said, wiping sweat off his forehead. We are aiming to the district on the boundary of the central region. Hope that the artist won't get hit, Rebel said. Take this, the first operator shouted. Take this, the first operator shouted, hitting fiercely the button on the keypad. The loading bar on the screen instantly became full. So let's stop here for a second. Let's discuss what's going on here. We are basically in a war. Okay, so basically we have someone that is not going to take the transhumanism, like the hybrid species. They're trying to make a robot slash humans with chips and stuff. So she's oppressing. She's a rebel. Okay, so she's not following the order. Now this is a wonderful story so far. I love this, and I don't know how many people made this story, but Anna, if you're watching this, like this is awesome. I love this. Let's get to the next song. It's Autonomous.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
All right, so this is basically talking about the autonoms coming together and trying to overthrow the half human, half robot government enforced system. Yeah, this is basically Skynet. They're trying to overthrow Skynet. I mean, they're basically John Connor and Sarah Connor, like minus the new Terminator movie, that is. Yeah, before you became a hybrid. But yeah. Let's get to the next chapter, shall we? Alright, so my pizza's coming soon. So I might take a break real quick. Yeah, I'm probably gonna take a break, guys. If you haven't already, man, follow me on Twitter. It is twitter.com/PTB Empire. Make sure PTB is all caps. Um, as well as a Facebook group. I have a Facebook page, Pasta Boss fan page, and that will be facebook.com/pastaboss1369. And then my Facebook group. If you want to get invited to my Facebook group, then just go to this link, facebook.com/group/PTB Empire, and ask to join, my friends. That's all you need to do. And for the break, I'm going to be playing some music so you guys don't get bored. Hang on. This is composed of all the reactions I've done. So, yeah, I'm gonna wait for my pizza, guys, and once I'm done eating my pizza, I will be back. And that is gonna be all for now.
before I leave. From home to home, a short drive to the coastline. One last embrace before we part ways. Aloha, my friend, until we meet again. This is farewell, but we can't get enough. So far away, but close to my heart. Aloha, aloha,
Alright, y'all. Looks like I'm back. Hang on. One sec. Yeah, I had to turn that off. Sorry. Alright, so now we're on to chapter 2. Um, Here we go. If you missed anything else, you can rewind the video. Um, Chapter 1. Prologue in Chapter 1. Let me swallow this real quick. Alright, cool. Chapter 2. The Artist. The artist stood at the balcony, spinning a pencil in his hand, and observed police cars and bulked down on the streets below him. There were so many of them that traffic on adjacent streets were completely jammed. Nobody seemed to understand anything. Far-off voices could barely reach the 10th floor, so Artist only heard one radio set ordering, "Control to all vehicles. We have a code 8 between Central and South, District 6." Two plotters buzzed loudly somewhere deep inside the apartment while Artist was making another 100 of his proclamations, just a mordant caricature of authority with slightly caustic commentary. But he was never prouder of his work. Perhaps he could draw a painting of the welter happening down there, something decent and real. A doorbell distracted him from his thoughts. He took away the bundles of finished proclamations and crossed the room, nimbly maneuvering behind boxes and paper. A lock clicked and one of the cops appeared at the doorstep. A young one, maybe a sergeant. "Good afternoon, sir. Is everything okay here?" he asked. Artist stepped aside defiantly and gestured him to enter. The police officer remained at the doorstep, looking at the boxes. That's my job there. I illustrate a number of official state periodicals. Didn't you see my last work in The Voice of Truth, mocking all these mutineers?" said the artist. He saw a shadow of a smile on the cop's face, and it was the very best reaction possible. "Is anything wrong?" Artist asked. "We've got an urgent report." He pointed at his radio, "about the location of the instigator of recent mass upheavals. The only upheaval is the one in my guest room, as you can see. Please remain indoors and don't open your door, just in case." As if I would be afraid of anything with so many officers down there. Perhaps fear only a penalty for unpaid electricity. The officer pointed his finger at the plotters and smiled. Artist took one of the caricatures, signed it, and then gave it to the policeman. "It will cost me lots of money soon, so I'll pay any penalty one can give." "Thank you and good day, sir," the police said, then took the list into his pocket and adjusted his cap. After that he stepped towards the neighbor's flat. Artist closed his door. This guy's gonna get some patience then. This guy's gonna get some patience then. My neighbor always turns his TV on full. I can barely hear his doorbell. Too bad he will be on the other side, Artist thought, and turned the plotters on. Then he returned onto the balcony and stood frozen. A man lay on the ground right between the entrance and the police vehicles. The two police officers ran at him with handcuffs. They, however, didn't manage to get there, because two men sprinted across from them out of the house entrance. There was a lot of noises from curses, threats, yells calling, "Freeze!" and "Get your hands up!" sounding all over the place. More and more people appeared from the house and then assaulted the policeman like a flock of wild beasts. Artist ran back into the room and hid inside the wardrobe just as he heard the first shots, leaving a narrow slit between his doors. He hadn't a second to think about what's going on. What in the name of... A knock sounded from the door. No, a hit. Someone was hitting the door from outside with something heavy. Again and again and again. Plastic bars couldn't withstand this force. Then suddenly a blood-stained, mutilated head of that young sergeant appeared in the hole of the door. The policeman fell on the floor, and there was no doubt he was already dead for some time. Someone's shadow moved further down the hallway. Artist was frozen in genuine terror. The plotters stopped after spitting out the last caricature. Suddenly an old TV in the cozy corner, dormant for so many years, awakened. Suppressed demonstrations, police brutality, and outrage of the crowd glimmered from its dusty screen, distorted with static. Dynamics played an odd, dysrhythmic tune. Somewhere in the depths of this tune, sound called for resistance. And this is the song, Art of Resistance. 1 second, let me get to it. And enjoy. In this chaos, no one noticed that all the surveillance cameras nearby suddenly moved at the same time. The scene was flooded with patrol drones, and one could hardly escape from their predatory eyes. Alright guys, we're on to chapter 3. I'm going to go ahead and take another quick break and finish eating, and I will be back. Alright. Sorry, I'm playing Battle Camp. Alright, let's get to chapter 3. Here we go. Chapter 3, A Million Eyes. Make sure I'm still streaming here, so I don't do this for nothing. Yep, am I streaming? Dope, right? Yep. Okay. Ah, cool. So, chapter 3, A Million Eyes. Citizens uniformly filled the landed shuttle. The terminal station of Line Blue was overcrowded as usual. Here were students, intellectuals, and civil servants in gray suits. Their sleep-deprived faces looked like those of the androids. All of them were in a hurry to take their places in a gargantuan automaton named Megapolis. A young man reading Introduction into Cybernetics attracted the attention of a benign elderly man that sat against him. He somehow resembled an honorable professor. "I am very sorry to disturb you," the old man said. "What year is this discipline? What year is this discipline is now being taught on?" The student raised his head from the book and replied reluctantly, "On first year in our uni." "Marvelous. And how do you like this science?" "I'm only at the start, a bit boring though," the young man answered, being somehow controversially attracted into the conversation. "When I was a smidgen older than you, I worked in cybernetics. I assure you from my heart that this direction is very promising indeed," the old man exclaimed. The student felt embarrassed and muttered, "My mother moved here several years ago. This science is known very little where I came from." "Are there still places like that on Earth?" the old man shouted, being quite startled. "Would you then let me tell a part of a tale which I humbly was while we are riding this implausible steel chariot? Even since the beginning of the I don't even know, 23rd century? Looks like, yeah, 23rd century. Um, Sociology and IT were main sciences in our proud country. The whole population used to pass all kinds of polls and examinations. Both children and adults filled countless forms, and all information was gathered by the United Data Processing Center of Bureau of Sociology, the Bureau in brief that I belong to. Data was systematized and archived for subsequent analysis and development of most efficient social policy. By the way, these data, for instance, could determine the career choice of every single university graduate. The old man continued. Computers gradually became much more significant for data analysis than humans could ever be. There was an undeniable breakthrough in 2007 when a group of scientists developed a data gathering analysis algorithm for BS, suitable also for decision making. It was called Purple One, Alpha 00118. It was devoted to performing global social programs. Over the years, it became more and more complicated, and in 2031, it was extended with elements of restricted AI and self-development modules. Over the last few years, it perpetrated into each and every area of life here, and even got an ironic alias such as Spybot. There is no need for tests and polls anymore because Purple One automatically harvests information from social networks, browser history, geolocation data, and even surveillance cameras. It individually defines and recommends a song to listen while driving to work and a show to watch before sleep. This program consults you on any question from the profession you are going to use, from the professions you are going to choose, to the meal you are going to take for supper, calculated from an analysis of your physical condition and number of calories you need. Thus, people make decisions according to proposed variants. Experience showed us that there is no better alternative because humans can be no match for machines. The creature has totally overcome its creator. Welcome to the future, young man, the old man concluded. And here we go, the next song, De-Evolution. a really good song. Yeah, that was pretty dope, bro. that was a dope ass song. over yet. Alright, Chapter 4. The Functionary. Perhaps the one person that could represent the technocratic government the best way was its head, the chairman of Supreme Council. He was often noticed in different scientific publications and reports, but almost nothing can be found in the public press. The majority of information about his person and life is boiled amid rumors and speculations. The most wonderful thing was that nobody knew him in person. He was a shadow that both everyone and no one knew, except in the narrow circle of the initiated. Citizens referred to the head of their state as just the functionary. His word had no place for perturbations and anxiety because he was too intelligent and powerful for feeling something like those emotions. At least he thought so. Duty of being responsible for matters of life and death and the fate of millions never disturbed his calm. He just did his job and did it well. And don't forget to take an umbrella, the radio spoke. Functionary finally turned away from the window where he watched a thunderstorm coming. Distracted by the last phrase, he looked at the wardrobe with a coat hanging there and then at a leather briefcase with an umbrella attached to his handle by a maid. He smiled sorry. He smiled something known only to him and started dressing up. His smile died when the elevator doors closed. After a brief glance at his wristwatch, knowingly perfectly what time he would see, Functionary went outside. He had to unbutton his coat, as the weather wasn't as chill as he thought earlier. At this time, even before his hand and went down to the buttons. A strange woman bumped into him at almost full speed. The hit wasn't powerful, yet suddenly, and he almost lost his balance. The woman had a short haircut and dressed in an old field uniform and gazed at him with either hate or rage. Excuse me. They stood for a few seconds as if they tried to recognize an old friend. "Can I help you?" he said at last. "Only we can help ourselves," she muttered through her teeth, and then she passed by. Functionary seemed to hear that phrase in one of the propaganda broadcastings that are to be found only on the web. He moved to a shuttle stop, trying to get his accident out of his head. The shuttle was unusually overcrowded, and Functionary found a place in a part farther inside the vehicle. He sometimes liked to use public transport, especially when the distance wasn't quite far, because it was the best opportunity to know what citizens talk about, and to sense their intentions and mood. Through the window he could see how many people were on the streets. They weren't in a hurry getting to the job like himself, but they did stride around with no purpose. Many faces carried the seal of anxiety, and their glances were much like the one that the girl threw at him earlier, mad and frightened. He noticed a small group of people discussing something near the tube entrance, then saw two men disappear into a dark passageway, looking suspiciously. Something was wrong, something happened or was about to happen now. Blue glimmers in the window had shown the arrival of an ambulance and police vehicles, while the shuttle slowly passed by the accident scene. Functionaries saw bloodstains on the pavement and a police cap lying step aside. A stretcher was in the ambulance car already, but it wasn't in a hurry leaving. Two policemen with pads in their hands were questioning a witness, while two more were plucking propagandist flyers pasted all over the block. Only when the shuttle moved far enough, Functionary noticed voices humming. The passengers were actively discussing all that they had seen. Such a thing wasn't very obvious in this city. Have you seen that, haven't you? A benign old man resembling some professor asked Functionary. What in all sakes happened here? He had no time to answer. Conversation was muffled by hooters and rumbles on the forthcoming thunderstorm. 3 police cars flew by the shuttle at high speed. For some time, functionary tried to maintain the chat with the old man and portrayed sincere concern, then directed himself to doors. After a while, he went out on a stop amid the center of the city along a big group of passengers. A downpour started and rattles of thunder were echoing through all Megapolis. He fastened his coat and opened the umbrella and then let himself into the main entrance of a giant skyscraper, embellished with a big state blazon and captioned the Supreme Council right above it. Make sure I'm still streaming. Yep, I am. Cool. Chapter 5. It's a long one. Alright. Functionary entered his cabinet and demanded a comprehensive report of the incident that just happened. The results astonished him. The entire central district was engulfed in mutiny, which led to significant police and civilian casualties. According to reports, the unrest was triggered by a transmission of a broadcast displaying police brutality. No source could be traced, however, and expertise shown that this video was a fake. Functionary sat still for some time, trying to put his thoughts in order. These malcontents could scarcely overthrow our authority. They are active enough to disturb it, but not to give any notable threat though. Their actions violate the coherent performance of society and the state that we have been building so hard and for so long. We must deal with them, he thought while moving figures on a chessboard. The ring of the intercom distracted him. Chairman, the council's waiting for your command, the speaker mumbled. Meeting everyone in the main hall in 15 minutes. A massive oaken table and deep leather chairs were surrounded with marble columns heading straight up. The ceiling of the main hall was so high that it could barely be seen in penumbra. I don't know. Penumbra? Yeah. Huge display panels allowing to see anything in Megapolis on first demand were built in walls. 12 council members, poker face, took their places exactly at the same time. They sat in comfortable armchairs, fitted rather for relaxation than strict conversation. Here, functionary addressed the council, we know exactly what has to happen in the city. We know exactly what has happened in the city. All our efforts of passing through this situation are futile, and conventional treatment techniques are too late to be of any use. We have materials for almost every single opportunist, accepting rebellion leaders. For now, it is unknown who is their mastermind. We have nothing but assumptions. Functionary pressed one of the buttons, and the Megapolis Police Department chief appeared on screens. Colonel, investigation report, please. We use all we have here, but for all it's impossible to find any instigators. They are well conspired and organized. We need time for undercover work and all reinforcements possible. Try to work faster, and we all expect results as soon as possible. The screens darkened and silence filled the hall. It was soon interrupted by the head of the Bureau of Sociology, a pale-faced tall man. Chairman of our program has a vast library of methods allowing us to form and maintain the proper way of thinking all over the population. Getting tired, sorry. However, it obviously is quite useless against the autonoms that are convinced in depravity of state. Statistical prognostications show that a number of malcontents will increase within the next several years, and it could possibly harm the estimated order. Our analysis used computational powers of the program and prepared a report describing several situations of the problem that I would like to bring into consideration of the council. The head of the bureau commanded, An algorithm schemes appeared on the screens, while council members checked the displayed data. Functionary stared at nothing, leaning on his chair. The plan he was ready to bring forth was very, very cunning. What if? He muttered pensively. What if we will not extinguish the mutineers, but provoke them instead? They will come out into the open sooner or later, start violating the law, and thus libel themselves in the eyes of society. Moreover, considering the military police department has been, considering the Megapolis police department has been unable to handle the situation in the short term, I propose to activate the Metatron code. Silence fell in the air. What does this mean? The speaker finally asked. This means that we take down all restrictions and give Spybot full discretion. It will use all its resources and help us to eliminate the threat in an instant. Our main aim is to uncover the leaders of the rebellion. Of this rebellion. The program will take control on every single device in the city. Connect to every smart house system. Spybot will know everything and follow every single step in Megapolis. We will make fake news prompting the rebels to open confrontation. They will revolt and therefore quickly and effectively be suppressed by police forces. Chairman, Speaker uttered, I invite the Council to take a break before making such an important decision, to instruct the analytical Department of Bureau to work out all possible scenarios and the possible aftermath of this decision. Functionary frowned and looked sternly at the speaker. Do you want to question my competence, as well as my calculations? Hearing that, the speaker crouched lower in his chair, feeling that he is falling somewhere. Then everything went dark in his eyes. He hushed. I invite the council to vote on the decision. I invite the council to vote on the decision aforementioned. Functionary demanded with an authoritative tone. After just 20 seconds, screens indifferently displayed the result. 11 voices in favor with one abstention. Sorry. A lot of big words here. Hang on. Next one, decision code. And if you have not heard this yet, I have a reaction to it on my channel, so make sure you look that up. Here we go. Alright guys, I think this is a good point to stop at. We are currently on chapter 6. I will read the rest of this tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will be doing another live one. This is a series, this is a thank you to 150 subscribers. I wasn't able to get the sleep token stuff done, so gonna have to save that for another time. Probably 200 subs special. But yeah, I'm on my way. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. That'd be amazing. So please, if you can, if you watch this, then please share my videos, like my videos, comment. Tell me what I can do better on my videos. For real. I want to know what I can do better. So, yeah, anyways, uh, I gotta get going, guys. It's pretty late, so I'm gonna get to bed, and I will read the rest of this tomorrow. Pasta Boss